Hey everybody, Stephen Joy here. I just wanted to take a quick look at BX rules. I find this is my favorite version of D&D. I think maybe because it's the very first version I ever played, but there are some things about this version of the game that I really like. So, for those of you that maybe don't know, the BX version of the game, there are a lot of different versions of it, particularly modern versions and whatever. But this is the original that it's all based on. Is the basic and the expert rules, which is why it's called BX. So these rules only cover levels 1 to 5. And then these rules cover... I don't remember. Anyway, more than that. Here, let's have a look here. You go on, yeah, up to level 14, right? So this is for when you get up to higher level. I had a lot of fun with this game. It's how I originally was introduced to D&D. So my group, we and friends, we had a lot of fun with this. It originally came in a box and came with dice and a crayon, and you could shove the black into the dice to make the numbers appear. I was lucky enough to find this a few years ago, quite a few years ago actually, but unfortunately it was all wrapped up and I didn't realize it was brand new when I got it. Would have been nice to have kept it in perfect condition. It was still wrapped and everything, and I didn't realize that, and so I ended up oh, look at that. I'm just causing no end of damage to it. Alright, anyway, whatever. You only live once. So, that's what the BX rules are. So, these are the originals. You can still get these on DriveThruRPG. I have a couple of printed versions. Sorry for the glossy. I need the light, and these are glossy, so I can't help that. So, these are printed out versions that I have, just so that I can hand them to players and stuff and use them in my game and reference them. It's better than using the original books, I think, is just to use these. But I got these on DriveThruRPG. You can get them. They're really cheap. The game is fun and excellent. I love this version. So one of the interesting things about BX that you won't find in 5th edition D&D is the race as class. So actual races like dwarves, elves, halflings, they are actually classes in this. So you play a dwarf. You don't play a dwarf fighter, dwarf cleric, dwarf thief. You don't play anything like that. You're just a dwarf. You're just an elf. You're just a halfling. I love that, but I know a lot of players don't like that. This was something I really liked about the game myself. Back when I used to play it a lot, is because I thought it allowed the world to have more flavor, if you like, because it forced dwarves, it forced elves, it forced halflings, etc. to be more unique, is how I felt about it. But I generally DM'd a lot, and I found that the players didn't like that. They found it too restrictive or something. I'm not sure. Anyway, unfortunately, people didn't want to play Basic anymore. I had a hard time getting people once they had found Advanced Dungeons and Dragons. And I think what happened, a lot of that was just semantics. I think the idea of playing Basic versus Advanced, I think people thought Advanced must be better just because it was Advanced as opposed to Basic, which must be somehow less because it's called Basic. But they were very different rule sets. And I still very much like BX. Just had a game of it just a little while ago, and it was excellent. So these are the original rules. So what I wanted to do was just show that there are alternatives to it. And the one alternative that I was going to go into today, just to analyze a couple of things, just to show the massive variety. There's this old school essentials, and I've got this advanced fantasy. And once again, this is an amazing book. It's so well laid out. It's so well made. It's also so bloody expensive. That really you have to be a very diehard D&D fan, I think, to really dive into this. You know, not cutting it down or anything. It's a great book, and you can get cheaper versions online. You can get a digital copy and whatever. You don't have to go with this. It's absolutely gorgeous, though. Love this book, and but it's interesting. And what I find interesting about it is that in the original rules, there weren't a lot. Well, there wasn't anything about how to balance and create your own races or create your own classes. Now, race says class. This divides it up. This allows you to play a race and then a class if you want with the old BX rules. And these rules, they claim, are exactly the same as the rules in the book, and I haven't found them any different, except it actually corrects some issues. So this is an interesting book that I got, published by the Welsh Piper, BX Options. I think I already did a video on this. And then this is another book that I've gotten by Jonathan Becker, which is the BX Adventure. And all I want to do in this video, I don't want it to be very long, is I just want to show one of the reasons that I love BX so much. And that is because of the incredible variety and different scopes of the rules that you can get. And as a DM, I find this just so wonderful for building worlds, because you can have just such incredible variation on classes and races. And I just wanted to give you an example of what I'm talking about. So this is the assassin, which is not included in the original books. This is an add-on. This was taken from Advanced Dungeons and Dragons. Had an assassin in it, and so I imagine that was the inspiration here to add an assassin to BX. And so some of the differences, I just find this very fascinating. In the old school essentials, which I'll call OSE, the assassin has a hit die of a D4, but in the BX options, they have a hit die of a D6, right? So here, they're allowed to have leathers and shields, to use leather armor and have a shield. But in this one, they're not allowed to have a shield, but they can have leather. In this one, they can have anything except a two-handed melee weapon. In this one, they can have any weapon. So, quite a big difference. And then if you look at the experience points, I hope you can see this. If you can't, then I'll just try and explain it. So to get to second level, in the BX options, you need 1,900 experience points, yet in the OSE, you need 1,500. Then it goes to 3,800, this is 3,000, then 7,600, 6,000. So this one is quite a bit more experience to advance a level. Perhaps that's because of the higher hit die. Perhaps I don't know if this book was used. I don't know if this book was used to design the OSE classes. It's interesting. And then as for the skills, you know, you have Assassinate, Combat, Disguise, Poison, Thief skills. And here you have Assassination, Climb Sheer Surface, Hear Noise, Hide in Shadow, Move Silently, which those are Thief skills. They also have Disguise. They have a Poison ability here, they have a Poison ability here. And all of them are slightly different. See, in this one, victims of a poisoning by an assassin, see Poison, page 98, suffers a mental penalty to saving throws. In this one, it goes into, well, right away it goes into a little more detail about the poisons. You have ones that cause blindness, instant death, paralysm, paralyzing them, sleep, etc. So I would argue, like from a design perspective, these are almost like allowing your thief to have spells. And if you think about it, they're quite powerful spells. All right, so that's the assassin. You can look at the barbarian next. I'm not going to go through everything, and this is just quick. I'm just showing you basically how if you get BX rules and you get into this, it gets into a lot of fun. It gets into a lot of fun because here we've got a barbarian. It's got a D4 hit die, but the barbarian in the OSE is a D8. Right, maximum levels 14. That's pretty much the same because of the experience, the XP rules. This one, any one-handed melee weapon or missile weapon. In this one, they're allowed any weapons, and the armor is leather, chain, and shields. Here, the armor is leather only, no shields. Oh, this is a bard. I'm sorry. What am I doing? Not a barbarian. I was wondering, why is that so screwed up? There we go. All right. This is the bard, not the barbarian. Sorry about that. All right. So here we go. A D6 versus a D4, level 14. Leather chainmail, no shield. Leather, no shields. Missile weapon, one-handed. Any one-handed melee or missile weapon. Melee weapons. Okay, so only one-handed melee weapons. A bonus on languages in this one, getting 2 additional languages. That would be without any intelligence bonuses or anything. So then the abilities, combat, enchantment, lore, read languages, thief skills using magic items. And in this one, the bard can actually cast spells. And in this one, they can also, well, let's see how they line up. So the saving throws look like they're pretty much the same all the way up until, let's see here, 14th level. 8, 9, 7, 10, 8. Yeah, so those are identical. So that's kind of interesting. It's almost like this book was referenced to make these. I kind of suspect maybe they were, a little bit anyway. The spells are a little bit different in that at first level, in the options book, you can have a spell at first level. And then it continues, but at this, in the OSE, you don't get spells at first level. So, I just think this is really fascinating because you could rewrite these out if you wanted and actually have them as different bards from different parts of the world. So they have little bit different abilities and whatever. The idea being is that both versions of this are compatible with the BX rules. So you should be able to use both of these, but you would give one a different name. That also shows you just how you can just change things around a little bit and give it a different name. So one of the things that I always loved about the BX system is just how malleable it is and how easy it is to change things around. I believe I showed in a video that I had made a whole bunch of different classes myself for BX. That was before I even had this book. I more or less just had to guess at it. But when I compared, I found that I had actually done a fairly good job. Okay, so now we can get back to the barbarian. This is something I find really interesting. I found this this difference really fun because in the BX, the barbarian is a class, right? But in the options, it's a race. So how different is that? And it's a pretty tough race, but this is race as class, right? So again, this would be a human barbarian. But in this, you could be, unless there's some restriction I'm not aware of, I don't see anything. You could be different races. So this is the sort of thing that I find absolutely so fascinating because BX rules are fairly simple, like very simple to alter and change around, as long as you stay within the ballpark. And the experience points, very similar. Very similar. The saving throws are has better saving throws in the OSE version than the options. Wilderness Survival, which is nice. It's a 1 in 6 D6 roll. Foraging and hunting. Anyway, it just shows you the kind of variation that you have. And these are 100% compatible with the original BX rules, which is just, I find absolutely fascinating. And then here's another one that came out. This is older, I believe, than the OSE rules. But in here you've got barbarians and bards as well. And again, they are really, just in small ways, but subtle ways, they're quite a bit different. Again, to the other ones. Different experience point requirements, similar hit die to one of them. Yeah. So anyway, that's all this video is about. I wasn't going to do too great a in-depth look at them. But just wanted to show some of the options. Here's the BX Companion. I think these are excellent resources for a DM. I don't know if I would wholeheartedly. I tried to just add everything into a BX game one time, and I did not like it. It kind of made my... I didn't like the way it made my world feel, but I did like when I went very carefully through and built my own classes and races. I found this game just excellent. And I love the feel of this book. I just got this just a week ago. And this is an excellent version of the original. Well, this isn't the version. This has the original rules in it, but also has a lot of advanced stuff in it too. I think this book is just great. Absolutely great. I love the artwork in it. I love the feel of it. It's got color art in it. It's a premium book, but if you play this game, it's well worth, especially all the bonus material. And I think this book is I think all of them are great. Especially if you're an ambitious DM that doesn't mind rolling up your sleeves and building new races and classes and things for different regions of your world, which I think add exponentially to the fun of a campaign world. Anyway, that's it. I just wanted to go over this. I was looking at these books on my shelf, and I thought, yeah, I should make a quick video about why I like the BX so much. Alright, that's it. Please leave a like and a thumbs up, and don't forget to follow or subscribe or leave a rumble if you're watching this on Rumble and all that good stuff. And thank you. I will talk to you next time.